Diddy's ex-assistant, I'm about to show you guys her testimony, the one he's referring to. She came to court yesterday and she testified that she was the female because Kid Cudi testified that his car got blew up after he started dating Cassie or whatever, and insinuated or accused Diddy of it. The prosecution accused Diddy of doing this, which is arson and some other stuff. So the fire department and the LAPD found that it was a woman's DNA on like the Molotov or the remains of the car that was blown up. And the woman that's being alleged to have been the woman that helped Diddy carry this act out, she came to court and testified against Diddy and said, yes, it was me. So that's what he's referring to. So let's let him finish.
Define arson. And he will say, if you find 2 of those, that's enough. And then he'll define enterprise. Indeed, an enterprise need not have a name. So in other words, there doesn't have to be a board meeting that says, all right, Joe, welcome to the meeting of the Diddy beat the hell out of a woman gang. Bob, I'm going to need you to go down to California and burn a damn car. Joe Nathan, what I'm going to need you to do is I need to make sure you get me some of them, well, you know, thicker brothers from out of the Midwest to do some of our stuff.
Yep.
Thus, an enterprise need not be a formal business entity such as a corporation.
Wow.
But it may be an informal association of individuals.
Like a gang.
A group or association of people can be an enterprise if, among other requirements, these individuals associate together for a purpose of engaging in some course of conduct.
Right.
Common sense suggests that the existence of an association, in fact, is oftentimes more readily proven by what it does rather than by the abstract analysis of its structure.
All that means is, in layman's terms or simple terms or simpler terms than what he said, all he's saying is it don't have to be a formal business entity. You don't have to be an LLC. It don't have to be a company or a corporation. It could be a gang on the street. As long as you guys are organized and committing crimes together, or as long as you guys are trying to carry out certain acts, you can get caught up under a RICO. He's just explaining what the law is.
Translation: if you got a bunch of guards who are enablers, who are helping you whoop the hell out of a woman and doing some awful stuff,
right?
Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's an enterprise for definition of RICO. I think D.L. Hughley said it best. These individuals aren't witnesses. They're accomplices because they're watching the crime. They're enabling him to do the crime. They're picking all the stuff that Capricorn testified to about all of these people who are associated in the Diddyverse, enablers,
the Diddyverse,
accomplices. More importantly, they are part of the enterprise, the criminal enterprise that helps with his prurient interest, that helps him with his sex trafficking interest, that helps him get everything he wants. And Diddy is Father Abraham, a Manny's son. He is the leader of this organization that is doing all of this awful stuff. Finally, there's been questions on the arson charge. I don't think the government has come close to proving arson. And I've been asking myself, why are they doing that anyway? Think about it. Under the law, there's something called the totality of the circumstances, that the government can go to a judge and say, Your Honor, we are trying to prove this arson through circumstantial evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And to prove this, we need to be able a little wide latitude to point and connect dots everywhere else, because otherwise they would not be able to get it in,
right,
because it would be considered a prior bad act.
Right.
So they're able to get into that burglary. They're able to get into the Marvel supervillain. They're able to get into the Kid Cudi information. All this other stuff they would not be able to get in but for them bringing the arson charge. White testimony.
That's smart.
The Cudi testimony, the Cassie testimony about the burning the car. All of that stuff that's unrelated, they're able to bring in to go after Diddy.
Y'all understand what he just said? Basically, he's saying the government, the feds, is so smart, they don't even care about getting Diddy on the arson charge. They're not trying to prove that. They don't care about him blowing up the car. They're just presenting that charge in order for them to bring a testimony from Kid Cudi so they can present that Diddy is using his employees from the company in order to do all these other crimes. And without saying that, hey, there's an arson charge here, they have no reason to bring Kid Cudi in because he's not a part of that. That's really smart by the feds. It's all a game, man. It's all a game. Let's see if you got something else. Nah, he don't got nothing. That's it. Man. So the woman he's referring to, Capricorn Clark, she was a former assistant of Diddy's. And she testified And the article says Capricorn Clark recalls Diddy allegedly wanting to kill Kid Cudi over his relationship with Cassie. So that's what she testified to in court. He's had a few different assistants testify. Hey, by the way, this is an example of why you should treat your employees. I have a dozen employees. Some of you guys might have employees that's listening. All my entrepreneurs that's listening. Some of you guys might be employees. You know, whatever it is in business. This is why you should treat your employees right. Because Diddy has, I'm sure, a plethora of other employees that aren't testifying, but there's people that just hate his guts just for how he treated them in the workplace. And I think that even I've seen an article that Dame Dash was having some struggles. I'll talk about that another time. But I think that there's a not a trend, but there's I don't know, like an awakening period that people are coming to where they're realizing, like, bro, I don't have to take this from this mean CEO. Like, you're not gonna talk to me crazy. You're not gonna do this. And Diddy did some crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's people that have testified saying that he's made them work for $60,000 a year, but they work like 19-hour shifts every single day, which is why the government is saying there's some forced labor here, which is another charge that he's facing. There's a bunch of different stuff. You got to treat your people right, man, because that's everybody that's testifying against him right now. I thought that was the most shocking part for me. Like, dang, he got a lot of employees testifying against him. People that there was one guy said that he liked Diddy, but he still was testifying. Like, it's crazy, man. So this assistant, one of his assistants, she went to court yesterday. She testified against him, and this is the stuff that she was saying. According to TMZ, Capricorn Clark, the former assistant, had Cassie texting her about Kid Cudi. However, this led to Clark immediately telling Cassie to delete the messages since Diddy was the one paying for their phones. However, the Bad Boys founder discovered Cassie had been seeing Kid Cudi anyways. Clark alleges that Diddy showed up to her front door on the morning of December 22nd, 2011 with a gun in his hand saying, "Why didn't you tell me who Scott, aka Kid Cudi, who is Kid Cudi?" Cassie acted innocent during the alleged interaction, claiming to not know who he was. Diddy grew angry, and according to Clark, he allegedly said, "We're going to kill this N-word." So I think that the lawyer that we just played, salute to him, that was a brilliant observation, because I didn't realize that the government was presenting the arson charge just because they wanted to be able to bring all this other stuff in. It makes a lot of sense, though. So this woman says that Diddy did that. And I'm going to show you guys the live updates, too, on what's going on in court today, because I want to show you guys what the LAPD and the fire department also said about this situation, because they're presenting some evidence that I thought was going to be very harmful to Diddy's case as well. I don't think, when you hear, it's different when you hear from the people that was around, that they may be associated or they may have something personal against Diddy. But when you hear, there's other stuff, I think that's when it gets significant.